I mean, I love this interview because I mean, again, I don't always have the opportunity to interview two different people at the same time. So, like, this next question is kind of playing off of that yin and yang again. If you guys have an opportunity to talk to say a younger version of yourself, someone that may be listening to this podcast, and they may be 4 years apart, they may be cousins or they may be siblings or whatever it is, and they're like, great, like these guys have kind of figured it out. What words of wisdom would you guys like to leave behind for them to help them to continue on their journey?
Mm.
You're gonna throw me under the bus, or
That's
gonna throw you
powerful.
under the bus?
Do you have something already?
I do.
All right, then you go ahead.
To me, well, the first thing is start publishing somehow, not just the benefit on the business side, but also the benefit internal. There's something that happens when you start putting your thoughts into words and putting it out to the world. That's going to change everything, right? You start actually am I being honest with myself? Am I actually doing the things I say I will do? Like we hit for the longest time, a few years without publishing, right? And it wasn't until like this business guy was like, well, where's your stuff? And we're like, oh, that's what like the whole publishing thing started. And we're like, we have to actually be honest and be true with ourselves. And if we want to be that person, we have to do it. And the way that we did it was we chose to publish. Whether that's writing, whether that's podcasting, whether that's video, like find the way that you can do it, because that is going to ignite a massive transformation. And the second thing that I've been working really, really hard in the last few months that has helped me massively is awareness, like hyper awareness on how I feel, why I feel that way. And it almost always comes down to myself, right? So, there has been, going back to the brotherly topic, right? Like, obviously there's things that I do that probably, makes my brother very angry. There's things that he does that makes myself pretty angry, or there are things that maybe my wife does. And I've been taking a second to kind of slow down. Maybe I have an initial reaction, and then that initial reaction triggers a hyper awareness. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm feeling this way. I'm feeling anger. I'm feeling frustration. Why? Right. And then it's like this crazy, like the ugly truth, right? And then you're like, okay, it goes down to me because I didn't do that, or XYZ, right? Whatever. So the first step is that hyper awareness. Identify those situations and maybe don't do anything with them. Just like be hyper aware that you're feeling that way, and just acknowledging that moment is gonna bring massive clarity. So those two things for me.
Yeah, I took the time to write the top 3 that came into my mind at the moment. But the first one would be to redefine failure, right? I think a lot of people are afraid of making mistakes, just failing in general, right? There's a lot of the message of like, oh, you're either a winner or a loser. And I want to clarify this. I'm personally not one for participation trophies. I do like being competitive and winning and coming in first place.
There's a reason we don't play FIFA anymore.
Yeah, we get very competitive. But I do want to share this. It's very important that when you are being competitive and you're trying to win, when you don't succeed at that, don't look at it as failure, but look at it as learning, right? Okay, what did I learn here? It's just an evolution. It's a step closer to winning. And sometimes we learn more from those failures, right? I'm doing air quotes in here, than from the victory. So that'll be number 1, redefine failure. The second one is that nobody knows, right? And is in a sense that everybody's going through life, figuring it out one step at a time. And sometimes we are just obsessed with trying to learn who has that secret to success, right? Who knows what they're doing that they can just give me all. And guess what? Yes, they might be a few steps ahead of you, but also their how is not necessarily your how, but you can learn from everybody, but just go one step at a time. I actually just recently heard an interview with Damon John, and he was like, dude, I still don't know what I'm doing. I'm still just going one step at a time. And I was like, I love it, right? I love that transparency. There's actually a quote that I read pretty often that it says, and I'm kind of butchering a little bit, but it says, most famous people that successful people that they don't know what they're doing. They are just doing, right? And sometimes we just get so concerned on what is it that I need to do that we don't do on the moment. So be present and, just remind yourself that nobody knows what they're doing. They're just taking action. They're just doing something. So take action and get momentum. And then the very last one, it goes hand in hand with my brother and that awareness, which is reflect and learn. Sometimes, especially right now, I feel we live in a very noisy world, lots of things, lots of inputs every single time, and we don't really stop to think and, reflect on how could we be better, right? And I'm a victim of this, and I'm actually saying it in a way to remind myself right now to stop at moments and think about things and reflect. How can I improve here? What do I need to let go of? And that I feel like that right there is the way to just move your life forward. Because if not, we just get in the hamster wheel and we just go, 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 go. And I feel that's when we start feeling stuck, when we don't take a pause and reflect on what we're doing.